Okay. All right. This is gonna be an exciting little thing I'm gonna try to do, because I once again still struggling to make content, but I'm trying to get there. But hello everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today and everything. My name's Aiden, but I usually go by AKA Tamashi. That's my content creator name. I am pretty much a gamer, but I'm just a type of person who like to branch out into different genres of anything that's creative. Okay, I like to be a photographer. I want to make music, but haven't gotten into it. I feel like I need a guitar for that. But today I want to expand on my content creations, just because I wanted to make a podcast. Okay, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts for lately. I'm like thinking, there's so much that I would like to talk about that I don't really get to talk about. Why am I looking over here? I need to look over here. Once again, I'm still kind of brand new to this. So if you catch me looking over here, just know I'm not reading nothing. I'm just so used to looking at myself, because I'm looking at myself from right here. But yeah, I'm a little shy. So just know that. But my name's Aiden. But you may call me Tamashi, and welcome to the podcast. Where we can talk about pretty much anything, either life or just books, movies, pretty much anything that goes on in the world and everything that I find either interesting or y'all find interesting. I just hop on the topic and just start talking about it, tell my thoughts, tell y'all the world thoughts, and just see how it goes. Because, I feel like, people should speak their mind a little more often and everything, and just, have fun with being yourself and speaking. But today, for the first episode of the podcast, I want it to be about the struggles for people going in their adulthood. People that's going into adulthood do not have all the tools, the preparation, the talks, and just knowing anything about going to adulthood. Some people just get thrown in there. Some people just exist in it, just get tossed around and everything, and it's truly kind of just a terrible thing to kind of go through. Honestly, I'm sorry. Especially in this generation, which is in 2025, 2026, 2024's generation, has really cut back on trying to teach the youth, or just like the teens, adults, on how to prepare yourself in the outside world. Okay, they kind of just bypassed it in school when they took away cursive, sex education. I don't know if they have driver's ed in school. Not very sure about that. But they don't really prepare you, especially with people that don't have the parents that guide them. Sometimes people will come from a broken home where parents are pretty much not there, or might not even have parents. How do you expect them to learn anything when coming into this generation of crisis and everything? Because I can tell you this right now, most stuff that I learned probably from adulthood is either me asking questions or probably ChatGPT. This generation and AI are like best friends. A lot of people use AI a lot. I ChatGPT a lot of things now. I ChatGPT on how to fix my car, what sounds my car make, mostly my car, on how to cook, on just how to get Wi-Fi. Honestly, we all think we know how to get Wi-Fi when you move into your first place and everything, but then you no, you don't. Because I'll tell you not. I thought you can get Wi-Fi from the store. Okay, I thought I can get unlimited Wi-Fi from the store, hook it up and everything. I don't have to go through the cable, because who use cable anymore? That's stupid. No, I was wrong. I was totally wrong, because I bought a little box and everything. It gave me beautiful internet, and out of nowhere it just stopped working because it said I only had 10 gigabytes. But this box said unlimited. The box did say unlimited, but it pointed out the fact that there was only a certain amount of gigabytes you can have. I clearly did not read any of that. Clearly, I did not know Wi-Fi. You have to go and literally get the Wi-Fi set up, have someone come over, hook it up for you. I missed that part step and everything. But man, for this like generation to go downhill and be in fear of what to do now is crazy, because from the ages from like 18 all the way up to maybe like 25, a lot of people make a lot of mistakes. Okay, a lot of common mistakes by this generation. And of course you're gonna have mistakes when growing up, but some of these mistakes are like life changing. They put you through a lot of stress, a lot of depression, and can lead to very much a lot of dark times for a very young life that's supposed to be fun and bright and everything. Like, honestly, for me, it's a lot of like emotional stability. Okay, for me, I grew up having a mom, a dad, and sisters and brothers. That got chopped down so fast throughout every time that it got me to the point where like me and my sisters and moms was fighting. I got sent to my dad, who is a alcoholic and everything, and that right there led us to get into altercations where it made me pretty much go to a shelter. I went to the shelter maybe like 3 times or 2 times and everything, and that left me without schooling. That left me without really any family members, because no family members really reached out and talked to me. I was really by myself in the middle of Texas, so it was a struggle that I had to go through all through that. When I was like in I think it was 10th grade of high school was when I went through like going through shelters and everything. But me going through shelters and everything, they taught me a lot of things. The main thing they taught me was chess. I love chess now. I love chess. They taught me chess so well. But it's they taught me how to be very passive and everything. Now, passive is not the best thing to do because you don't want people running over you. But now I'm at the point where, hey, I'm not gonna let this get over my skin. I'm not gonna let this ruin my day. I'm gonna just be passive. And I took that with me even today on trying to be passive and everything. And people think, hey, you gotta be mad at me. I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you. I'm way over it. I'm zooming at that point. So people that go through like emotional stability and everything, they need someone to talk to. They need someone to be understood and everything. That was something that I had to go through, because I swear to you, I felt like I was being misunderstood. I knew that I did wrong, but I didn't feel like motivated. I don't feel motivated. When that motivation don't kick in, it kind of makes you just lead to a dark path of like I don't care moments and everything. What's another thing that people usually go through in life that does not really like support? Sex education is just it's a majority is not being fixed. Okay, there are people in this generation that has kids that I would not expect them to have kids at this type of age. Okay, there's people younger than me right now that has kids, and I'm only 20, so that kind of paints a picture. Now, I'm not saying there should be a rule book on when you should have kids. Like, there's a certain limit, but sometimes you got people that have kids and they don't have both parents. And when you don't have both parents, you leave the other parent to be stressed out and constantly, like, their childhood, all their hopes and dreams are gone. They are now entering like peak level of adulthood, where you have to work and toss things around constantly. Like, I have friends that's like in that same mentality and everything, and you think, how do you get through every day like that? Because it really does put a number on you. It puts a huge number on you. So that's and that's why like sex education needs to come back, because a lot of people do not understand the risk of just jumping right in and just going swimming. You can't just be in there just swimming away with no protection, no life vest and everything. You need a floater. You need something to make sure you don't drown in it, and just out of nowhere drowned. I'm trying to keep it PJ as possible. That's the best I can do when it comes to that. But like you people need to explain that way much better. My parents did not explain that to me at all. Okay, that was an awkward conversation, and I think that's what most parents don't want to go through. They don't want to have that awkward conversation with their children, or they don't even know their children even done it and everything. So sex education needs to definitely be fixed. Taxes. Kids need to know about taxes. Kids need to know about how to spend money. Kids need to know about credit cards. Kids need to know how to financially be stable. Okay. If I would have told y'all I'm financially stable, I'd be lying. Okay. My stability goes up, down, sideways, left, right, triangle, shaping, all type of jizz. Okay. I am not financially stable. Now, do I make it? Yes. Most people nowadays make it every week. Okay. They make it every week through a rough time, and they have to restart that and make sure they get through this next week and start again. Make sure they make it through the second week. Like, it's a sacrificing game of survival when it comes to you being financially stable. Okay, you got people working a ton of hours, a lot of stress, only get minimum wage paychecks and everything. Like, especially down here in Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. That's one of the poorest places I've ever been in my life. And I tell you now, you have to put in a lot of work for a pretty penny to even get through. Okay. Now me, I'm comfortable at my job. Do I put a lot of work in? I really do. But hey, it pays off sometimes, so I'll definitely take it. But you know, it's such a big game of financial, and I wish they would have done something like that in classes and everything. That should be a requirement. Now I know that's probably like a curriculum that you can take freely, but that should be a automatic requirement. People should know how to financially take care of themselves. People should go into this world being comfortable. Now there will be times that, you know, that happens, but you know, you should not be, you know, begging every week for money and everything. So like, because during that time and everything, people really go through like the darkest of times when it comes to financial. And people say money don't mean everything. Money don't mean everything, but money means everything. I hate that saying very much, because money does make happiness. Okay. If you don't have money, you are stressed because you're not financially comfortable. You're not in that predicament to be comfortable. You are feeling like you need to be on the edge doing something right there, right now, at every hour of the day. I feel that I fell in that so many times. Okay, there's so many times I started off at zero, and each week I get a big ad, like I don't want to cuss, a big paycheck, and then next week for some reason it is zero. How do I blow away? Let's just say a random number. How do you blow a $1,000 paycheck in 1 week? That's kind of questionable. Like, you can live off really like 200. Matter of fact, you can live off 100. If you have no bills, you can live off probably $50. But when you start getting those additionals like cars and bills and all that and everything, it starts cutting down and everything. Because I'll tell you not, if someone told me a $400 paycheck and I didn't have no responsibilities, that's crazy. I'll be hectic. I'll be spending and saving if I wanted to. But nowadays, if someone told me, hey, you can get $400 a week, no, I'm not gonna live off that. You can't live off $400 a week, because I got bills. I got stuff to be paid and everything constantly, and I need to strive to be better on saving, because man, it's such a crazy time to be like money hungry. I don't want to be money hungry, but shoot, I'm gonna have to be money hungry to be in a comfortable position to do stuff, to feel comfortable at home and everything. That's another thing. I have my first apartment. I didn't think I would have an apartment, because I didn't know the process of getting an apartment. Okay, I am. When did I got my apartment? I got my apartment in last year of November. I think either November or December. I think it was November though. Of November. I was 20 years old. Okay. I was kind of forced to in a way because my mom was moving and there was nowhere for me to go. So, I think I had a week to find a way to get an apartment or else I'm cooked. That's crazy. Now that I know the process, I did not. I didn't know I had to have an ID. I thought you really just had to have some bank. Okay, I thought you just bring the money. Hey, give me a room. Bam, right there. No, that's not it. I had to show bank statements. I didn't know what that was. I had to show credit card statements. My credit was trash. Just too much stuff that I didn't understand. But luckily I did get my apartment. And I'm still here. I almost got through it out. But I'm still here. What's another? Now this is a big one. Health. Now we all know how to take care of ourselves. Maybe this is just a me thing, but man, have you ever went to the doctor's office for like the very first time and you have zero clue what to do besides tell them, hey, I have a cough. Okay, so what's your social security number? I don't know. What's your Medicard or whatever? I do not know. TRICARE, I don't even know what that is, ma'am. What's your height? I don't not know. When was the last time you went to the dentist office? You want to age? Because that's all I got, ma'am. That's. I remember I went to the doctor's office. I was calling my mom, like instantly, like, ma'am. She asked me questions that doesn't even sound like English to me. I need you to talk to her because I just want some medicine. That's all I want. And man, it's because I was sick. I was sick one time, man. I didn't know what to do, especially with the, oh my god, biggest thing, we could be going to war with Asia and China. I mean, I'm so stupid. Did I say Asia and China? I mean China and Russia. Now, me personally, actually no, I was gonna say a crazy comment. I was gonna say I love China, but I'm thinking about Japan. I like anime, so if we ever go to war with Japan, just know I'm going to be on their side because I like anime. I like anime to stay in the world and pure. So just know that. Talking about drafting and everything, which is not an official draft. It's just a draft. Talking about like, man, you're taking away people that's 18 to like 24 years old freedoms with no permission. That is crazy. That is heck of crazy. Like, honestly, I was in the service. I know what it's about. And I can tell you this much. The draft is going to start a rebellion. Okay? It's going to start a rebellion. It's going to cause a lot of trouble. And I don't think America is ready for that. I don't think Donald Trump knows what he's doing, honestly. Donald Trump's just making people, question, hey, are we going to still be here next year or it's just gonna be fireworks popping off across the world and everything? Because shoot, we don't know. Because gas right now, gas is stressful. Gas is stressful. A lot. That's another thing. Gas is heavily stressful. Politics are making life harder for everyone, especially for teens. Because how you expect someone to even get to work? Like that's transportation. Your car needs gas to get to point A to point B. That's everything right there. And that's another thing, vehicle wise. Having a vehicle or having some type of transportation, a bike or something, is the key thing to moving around. Okay. Some people don't know how to get their license. Luckily my mom helped me, but I know there's some people that's like still struggling to get license and everything. And I feel like that should be in school. Getting your license should be at school. Everybody deserves to drive. I don't care what it is, all right? Because if you don't have a car, how are you going to get to work? How are you going to get to a level one if they're in trouble? How do you move around? You're just going to have grandma legs at the age of like 25, walking 24/7. It's just not healthy. They should make people prepare in life way much better than just throwing them out there, because it just be more easier. And I know it's not a hard, it's not simple. It's not simple doing that, but man, it takes one thing at a time. It really takes one thing at a time. I think they should start trying to fix that, honestly, for this country, for this world. Because shoot, I'm not finna put my kids through all that. I want my kids to be, 100% set and ready to walk out the house and know everything to do. That's literally the goal. Like, man. But like the key thing for people, and this is my honest opinion, this is my opinion of what I feel like people should do when they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? First, I wouldn't say ask ChatGPT, but I would ask ChatGPT. I would ask ChatGPT a lot of things, man. But I know ChatGPT is not reliable. I know it's not reliable. But ask questions. You just ask questions. I don't care if you walk up to a girl at the library, or a stranger, be like, "Hey, I'm sorry to disturb your peace and everything, but I have a genuinely honest question I really need to ask you. How can I do this? How can I do that? What's the way of doing this?" And I tell you, there's a lot of good people in this world that would sit there and tell you on how to do this. Shoot, go to Starbucks. Starbucks people are always happy, okay? If you need a life lesson, if you need a therapist, go to Starbucks. Starbucks know how to treat you, get you right, get you ready and steady. Go to Starbucks. Go to freaking Starbucks. Just, because, shoot, we have to realize, just because we don't have kin to tell you on what to do and everything, or your teacher's not telling you what to do, you always have people. People are not just all bad. Just because they are categorized as a stranger, my battery's finna die. Just because they are categorized as a stranger does not mean that, hey, you can't talk to them and just speak. Yeah, Shadow. By the way, y'all, this is Shadow. He is my dog, and I don't know what brand he is. Not brand, breed is. But, he's the most clingiest person ever. You want to say something? No? No. Yeah, he's just like pets. He would just sit here and take head pets for the next 5 hours if he wanted to. Yeah. But y'all, this is the first podcast. Thank you very much for listening. I know I kind of went over. It was like 22 minutes. I was expecting it to be like 10, but please ask me any questions and everything. I don't know why I'm looking over here. Please ask me any questions. Comment down on your thoughts, a situation you've been through and everything, solutions that you also been through, to have other people that might listen to this podcast. And obviously, have a beautiful day. Stay blessed. Keep your head up. Stay positive as much as possible, and just take it one step at a time. Everything. I love y'all very much. Once again, my name is Tamashi, and thank you very much for giving me your ear today. Peace.